Hello, my middle school students. I am coming from you with a giant stack of my art journals. I want to talk to you about what art journaling is and what it can look like. I have done everything from using old composition notebooks that were just, cheap at the beginning of the school year or laying around my house as something to create in. I took an old dictionary, literally, and have started making it into an art journal. I've glued 2 pages together, so like if I do something on this one, I'll skip the next page and then do my next spread. We will talk about what a spread looks like, but I just kind of wanted to give you a quick flip through here of some of the different things you can do. It doesn't have to look like anything. You can journal over top of it if you want. You can just use colors and things that are appropriate for the mood you're in that day. You can take quotes and add those to your artwork. They can be drawn over top of if you create a background. I hate the coronavirus. I know you all feel the same way. I didn't glue these pages together yet, so it's gonna take me a minute. Just some different ways to use different things so that you have options and you kind of know what it is that I am expecting and what it is you can do. So you guys have seen these journals before where I have drawn over top of watercolor paintings, and some of them are bad. Sometimes I do things that are not great. I mean, I like the colors, but I didn't finish it because I kind of got bored with it. That's okay. There's my fun little giraffes. I love them. This is a collage page from stuff I had printed off the internet and glued it down and then painted over top of it just to kind of make it more interesting. I even colored in some of the images. They were just black and white. This is another collage page from stuff from the internet, and then I journaled around it with a silver pen and added black to the background. Again, a quote, not my best work, but it is what it is. So there's another one that was fun with highlighters. Don't be afraid to use those. Think about the different kinds of materials you could use. You can paint with watercolors on paper like this. It does wrinkle the page a little bit. I actually kind of like that sound of the wrinkly page. You can use pictures from old books. I have a bunch of discarded books from Mrs. Garnica, and I end up using those as art journals as well. I have about a zillion of them. Too many for me to keep up with usually, but I just kind of do whatever I want to do. This page is kind of turned for the worst. I need to bring that back from the dead. It just got too dark for me, but I could always add white pen over top of it or white paint. It just really depends on what you want to do. This is one of my favorite pages. And this one was just using an old cardboard tube that I had to do stamping with. It's not the exact size of that one, but I do that a lot. You can always use toilet paper rolls to do stamping with. Again, we're in this together. It was just a little beginning of coronavirus. There's another ugly one that needs to be kind of brought back. This was just me cleaning out my paintbrush after I was done painting one day, just so I kind of had a background color. If a white page really intimidates you, that's a great way to start, is just kind of taking your paintbrush and cleaning it out on a page so that you have something to start with. This one I was pretty angry and wrote some angry words, and I was upset and getting my emotions out, and then I painted over it so no one can really read what it said. This was just some doodling I did one night just to kind of calm my brain down before I went to sleep. And then I was doing something based off of an artwork I had seen and colored it in with some alcohol ink markers. And then I mimicked the same idea but with paint over here. Again, I was just cleaning out my brush when I did that. And then I still have plenty of room left. And I've been working on this since last summer, so this has taken me quite a while to get through, but I am looking for you to complete a spread. A spread is 2 pages. It can be a lot of things. You can take flowers and leaves and twigs or whatever. Use what you've got. If you want to paint with dirt, do it. If you want to take the spices and things that your parents use, just a little bit, add some water to it and paint with that, or even old coffee grounds work wonderfully. You can do that as well. This is just some gouache paint, which is kind of like tempera, and then I used a stencil to add these little leaves. But if my ferns were bigger right now, I would have printed them on there, but they're not big enough yet. And you can see I had doodled and drawn on the back of, or underneath this, before I painted over it. I didn't like what I had doodled and drawn, but I was just trying to get the juices flowing for my creativity. So I always skip a page in between so nothing bleeds through. There's another one, just kind of working with colors. And then I can go back and journal in or doodle whatever I'm feeling later on. There's another one. And I have plans for this section to do some journaling over here, and then maybe even attaching a picture over top of this or something else. Those are just some of the recent ones I've done, but you know, it does not matter. Like if you're feeling like you're in this circle and you're constantly, you know, moving because of all the work we have to do right now, that's fine. This is something we did at the beginning of the school year. You could always repeat that and try it with different materials. Again, just doodles. Look, I started to go over it with gold, never finished. There's another page I never finished. That happens sometimes. Sometimes you do something and you're just like, ugh, I didn't like it. It's okay, move on, do something else. You guys know I like flowers. Here's another one. Bad shoe paintings. I can paint over it. There's my happy birthday to me page. There's another one. This kind of looked like the state of Ohio to me, but backwards. And so I wanted to do something with that, and I still haven't touched it. You could do a page all about bugs. You could do a page all about flowers. You could do a page all about cars, dragons, whatever it is that entertains you. I want to know in these art journals kind of what you're doing, how you're feeling, and it should be completely visual. This is one of my favorites. I hope you can see the whole thing. Yep, you guys are good. So I did this with my name being like the number one thing. So I put my first, middle, and last name, and then I did all kinds of things like cutting things out of magazines, and this was all about me, just kind of an all about me page, which I think is a great place to start. Pick pictures off of out of magazines, and you know, the things you love. I like to travel, you know, I have a hammock in my backyard. I love hammocks, especially if it was by the ocean. Wouldn't that be wonderful right now? Passion for kids, and I just kind of filled in whatever I wanted around with all kinds of different pens. My son's name. Spring is one of my favorite seasons. I love when everything's kind of new. I love OSU football. Just all kinds of different stuff. I love being a mom. I also love being a teacher. If you don't have a sketchbook and you're looking for something to work in, like I mentioned, this old little pocket dictionary, nobody uses these anymore. I found this in my classroom and decided to make it into a sketchbook. You can also take an old book. This book was called Tadpole. I cut the cover picture off and drew a little deck for him to sit on. And then I started folding the pages because I thought that was interesting. And then I added white paint over top of this. And then I started painting. I haven't gotten very far in this because that's all I've done, but you can skip pages, you can tear pages out and reuse them. I want you to really think about what it is you want to see in your art journal? You know, is it journaling? Is it, you know, drawing and creating with paints? Do you want to work on landscape drawings? Do you want to just talk about what you're doing? Are you watching the clouds drift by? Are you practicing with different materials? This is from a couple of years ago when I was working through different materials to introduce to you students. And there's another landscape and some lines and patterns and abstracts, a pumpkin, how to draw a flag, you know, again, that's Mark Kistler stuff. So is that from a soup can drawing I was doing with students, and there's a nice mountain range. Wouldn't it be beautiful to be there right now? Started something I never finished. I didn't really like it, so I just kind of quit on it. And then I like to add color. That's really my thing. I know you don't all have color at home, but you know, you can color in with Sharpies, you can color in with regular Crayola markers or anything water-based and add water to it. You can spray it down with a water bottle, you could drip it on, you could, even if it's raining, use the rain to your advantage and do a rain painting where you color the page with Crayola marker and set it out in the rain. So these are using stencils. Again, that's just paint, so it's not coming off of my hands very much. I have a lot of work still to do, but these are my starts. So this is where I start before I get to any sort of finished product. This is my most recent art journal that actually is made by another artist, Alyssa Burke, and I linked her Instagram into the first letter I sent home to you guys. So this is all about being grateful, a little journaling, a little doodling, and you kind of see how this all works together. This is one of my favorite things to do, is kind of look at 2 pages together. How can I incorporate drawing with journaling? I keep a journal separate from this as well, but I'm finding this way more beneficial for my mental state and keeping my journaling active, because I like art so much that I would rather be drawing, but then if I have the opportunity, I can add some words in. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Sometimes it's just happiness. This was, you know, all about moods and feelings. You're going to see more rainbow-esque things. Mandala drawings. I do like to draw those on my own, which is why I assigned those to you before. This is a mandala gone bad, which I'm working on fixing. This was just kind of how I was feeling. I felt terrible. I was heartbroken that all of this stuff was happening to you guys, to me, with the coronavirus, and, you know, just kind of working through it. Be the rainbow, people. Find the hope out there. I started doing some portrait work, just trying to work through some stuff. I kept going with the portrait work. This was all done with watercolor, but I just kind of built and did a bunch. So you can do a lot of different things. Again, I'm getting started on this page, but I'm nowhere near finished. And then I have a lot of others that are just pages that are kind of started, but not done. So think about what it is you can do, how it is you can take something that looks like this and turn it into something that looks like that. You can use things like bubble wrap to paint on and then print from it. This is dry paint, so it's not going to do anything, but you can do so much with an art journal. You can take old magazines, you can take stuff that you've printed out, like if you, this is my self-portrait guide for another class, but if you like cut off the top of this and you could arrange it in here somehow, you can take the pages from a book and glue them in. Think about all the different things you could do. So many endless opportunities with art journaling, and I really feel that that video walked you through kind of how to build up an art journal, and I think that's a great place to start. I hope you guys have fun with this, and this video helps explain it a little bit. Take care, and I will be talking to you soon.